the Bagatelle by Hummel on page 53. So, hopefully you notice that there is not a single chromatic note in this entire piece, all diatonic. Notice that every single phrase starts with an eighth note pickup, sometimes sixteenths. Notice here sixteenths in the first phrase, sixteenths in the second phrase. Moving on to the third phrase, it is an eighth note pickup, upbeat, and then of course the fourth phrase also eighth note. Notice that the first phrase and the second phrase repeat with a slight change of the melody at the end of the second phrase. So here you've got your first phrase that ends with that 16th note figure in the right hand. At the end of the second phrase, there is no 16th note figure, but they're exactly the same. Now, in the B section, the second part after the repeat sign, again, both phrases begin, but they begin the same, but they end differently. You'll see that measures 9 and 10 are exactly like 13 and 14. They begin with the same pickup, same notes, etc. But 11 and 12 are different than 15 and 16 significantly. Okay, so focus on that difference, study that, compare, go back and forth between the two bars. In that B section, also focus your attention on the right hand thirds. Notice the fingering. You start with 2 and 4, but then notice to get out of that, you've got to go to a 1 and 3 on the E and the G in that 10th bar. Okay, so just double check the fingering there in the thirds in the right hand. Also, what you want to do is in this section, you want to study your coordination between the hands. You've got some thirds going ascending in the right hand and somewhat of a descending figure in the left hand. Sometimes contrary motion is uncomfortable, so be careful about this in this bar right here. Will not be as difficult with the third and fourth measure because you don't have much going on in the left hand, so you can concentrate a little bit more. But again, check out the fingering, look at the intervals. Notice you've got some fifths going into thirds in there. Now you've got a number of sixteenths throughout this piece. You don't want to play this too fast, otherwise the pattern will get it'll just get out of control, the tempo. Also, you've got a lot of left hand repeated notes. We tend to get our eyes stuck. When we have repeated notes, we kind of glue our eyeballs there. Try to get over that, get going, get off of that right at the beginning. Don't hang on to the C and the E, that interval of a major third in the left hand. Push and get to that interval of a fourth in the second bar. Same thing in the third measure. Your eyes are going to want to get stuck on that minor seventh in the left hand, but don't allow it. Focus on your ascending right hand and then push to that C interval, C and E interval of a third in the fourth measure. And you can see that continues on in the left hand in the second phrase. Even in the third phrase, try not to focus in on that E and G in bar number 10.